So let's talk about something that every single one of us has in common: aging. But I want you to just for a moment forget everything you think you know about it. Forget the simple story of decline. We're about to explore why getting older might just be one of the most surprising and, believe it or not, dynamic parts of being human.
Okay, to kick things off, let's look at a fact that is quietly changing, well, everything. For the very first time in human history, we are right on the verge of having more people on this planet over the age of 65 than children under 5. I mean, just let that sink in. This isn't some far-off prediction, it's happening right now. It's a fundamental rewrite of the human story.
You know this complicated feeling we have about getting older? It's nothing new. Way back, over 2,000 years ago, the Roman statesman Cicero absolutely nailed it. We all want to live a long life, right? But at the same time, we kind of dread the idea of being old. This is the great paradox of aging, and we're going to unpack it together.
So that brings us to our first big idea. We are living in a brand new age of aging. Just think about it for a second. For pretty much all of human history, making it to old age was rare. It was the exception, not the rule. The fact that now whole societies are growing old together, that's a completely new phenomenon, and it changes absolutely everything.
But to really get a handle on where we're going, we've got to look at where we've come from. So let's take a quick walk through the history of longevity to see just how radically our relationship with old age has shifted over time.
Man, our views on aging have been all over the place. I mean, in ancient Greece, it was this total contradiction. Plato saw it as a source of wisdom, but Aristotle basically called it a disease. Through the Middle Ages, it was mostly a story of respect mixed with pity, a decline. But then something started to change during the Enlightenment. A new idea began to take hold. What if later life could actually be a time for growth and creativity? And that idea has now exploded into our modern world, where older adults aren't just on the sidelines, they're actively shaping our society.
And just look at the numbers here. The scale of this change is staggering. We went from a world where maybe 6 to 8% of people even saw their 60th birthday, to a world where, in lots of countries, more than a quarter of the population has. This isn't just a dry statistic, people. This is one of the single greatest success stories in the entire history of humanity.
Okay, so this huge jump in how long we live brings up a really important question. What's actually going on inside our bodies as time goes by? Let's get into the biology for a second, because the answer is way more nuanced than just things wear out. We really need to pull apart what's truly inevitable from what we can actually do something about. Now this is one of the most empowering ideas you'll come across in this whole field. Scientists split aging into two kinds. First, there's primary aging. This is the universal stuff, the changes that are basically baked into our biology and are going to happen no matter what. But then there's secondary aging, and this is the game changer. This is the damage that comes from our lifestyle choices, from disease, from our environment. And here is the key takeaway. We can't stop the clock on primary aging, but secondary aging, that's where we have an incredible amount of power to slow it down, and in some cases, even prevent it.
But that still leaves the big question. Why does that universal primary aging even happen in the first place? Well, the science really boils down to two main camps. The error theories basically say our bodies are like a car that just collects dings and rust over time from being out in the world. On the other hand, the program theories argue it's more like a pre-written script, something coded into our DNA from day one. The real answer? It's probably a dance between the two, a genetic blueprint that gets weathered and shaped by life itself.
So, that's the physical side of things. But what about our minds, our emotions? This is where the story takes a really unexpected and fascinating turn, revealing a paradox that shatters almost every stereotype we have about getting old. Let's just ask the question that's at the heart of so many people's fears. As the years pile on, do we just get sadder, angrier, more worried? Does life just become less joyful?
Well, get ready for this, because the scientific answer is a loud, clear, and pretty amazing no. In fact, quite often, the exact opposite is true. It's so counterintuitive, they call it the paradox of aging. Despite the physical stuff, the aches and pains, study after study from all over the world finds that, on average, happiness and emotional stability actually increase in our later years. Older adults consistently report less stress, less worry, and less anger than younger people. How about that?
So, what in the world is going on here? Well, one of the leading explanations is called socio-emotional selectivity theory. And the idea is actually pretty simple, but it's also really profound. As we get older, our sense of how much time we have left changes. And when that happens, our goals change too.
We stop trying to meet everybody or climb every mountain. Instead, we kind of instinctively start editing our lives, putting our precious time and energy only into the people and experiences that we find truly emotionally meaningful.
And this is where it all comes together. If we're living longer and often emotionally happier lives, well, the whole game has changed. The conversation can't just be about how to live longer anymore. It has to be about how to live well. It's about adding life to those years. The World Health Organization has a fantastic framework for this. They call it active aging. And what's so great about it is that it totally redefines success. It moves beyond just the simple idea of not being sick. Instead, it's this forward-looking vision that's built on 3 essential pillars.
And here they are. First, there's health, and that's not just your body, but your mind and your social connections too. Second is participation, staying engaged with your community, with the world around you. And third, security, knowing you have the safety net and the support you need when you need it. You see, it's a complete roadmap for adding life to our years, not just years to our life.
And this isn't just some abstract theory, you know? Just look at a country like Japan. They have one of the highest life expectancies on Earth. I mean, an average expectancy deep into the 80s, tons of people living past 100. It's a real-world example of what's possible when things like diet, social connection, and healthcare all come together to support not just a long life, but a full and healthy one.
All right, so let's boil this all down. What are the big takeaways? Number 1, an aging world isn't a trend, it's our new permanent reality. Number 2, remember you have a say in this. Focus your energy on that secondary aging. Number 3, don't forget the incredible paradox. Our emotional lives often get richer, not poorer, with age. And finally, number 4, aging well isn't about sitting back and hoping for the best. It's an active process.
And that really leaves us with what might be the defining question of our time. We've pulled off this biological miracle. We've added decades to the human lifespan. So the great challenge now, for every single one of us, and for all of us together, is to answer this. How are we going to add life to all those extra years?